one of my favorite movies of 2004 was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Even that trailer.
The trailer was so good.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like something wicked
Yeah.
this week. It's so good.
Yeah.
And one thing I'll just talk about is Alfonso Cuarón coming on, replacing Chris Columbus. What he really did was reinvented the visual aesthetic
He did.
of how he redesigned Hogwarts. He redesigned how the kids dressed. He made them
Muggle clothing.
And Muggle clothing, which he doesn't like. I know.
It's not canon.
I know.
Yeah, I like how they dress though.
I was like, screw robes.
It works for the movie really well.
Yeah.
Like, I think that aesthetic works really
And
well.
even in their uniforms, they kind of undo the collar and they have like casual mode
Yeah,
and stuff.
Casual
Casual
mode.
And then, it just sort of the look is very much an art movie. The Dementors are coming by freezing things and zooms in on that flower as it goes away.
Yeah.
And also what I really liked is he included practical magic, where he had no special effects, but they had magicians sort of come in, and there's a guy in the beginning, he's cleaning off the table, picks up a glass, makes it disappear, keeps cleaning, and you're like, what? But it was all real. He wanted to infuse like all different kinds of magic. Obviously the big stuff like the Patronus scene, which is like epic, but also little things that you can really appreciate.
Little details, right?
Yeah, and it was the, like you said, sort of maturing the series a bit. Like this was when the Principal 3 kids sort of started to become young adults and really grew up and started to become actually good actors and being able to have these really dramatic scenes. And when the movie started having these love interests and like some sexual tension, which was really great. And just like, this was sort of the point where I was like, this series is going to last. And like, I have full faith in the casting, and I have full faith now in, bringing Cuarón on, following, I think he had just made Y Tu Mamá También, and all of a sudden giving
That's
him
what got him the job.
Yeah, and giving him the keys to this amazing fantasy kingdom, and obviously he went on to direct stuff like Children of Men and Gravity, and...
I think if you had filmed this movie like 2 years earlier, I don't know if it would have been the same movie if they hadn't have matured by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the books, it marks the transition between children's to kind of young adult. It gets a little more mature here, and I think that the aesthetic works for that transition of the movie version, and I think that the actors all got to the right point in their careers and in their like actual selves for that as well. The other notable thing is a new Dumbledore in this movie. The previous Dumbledore had passed away, and this Dumbledore was a darker Dumbledore.
Michael Gambon.
Yeah, Michael Gambon to Richard Harris.
He's darker. The previous actor had kind of like that twinkle in his eye.
Yeah,
like
he was very good.
He was excellent. And then this Dumbledore is just a little. It matches the tone of the film. It's just a little
and
more.
He has a little bit of an edge.
Exactly.
But that's the story sort of growing and realizing that what's happening and that Voldemort is actually back and that these horrible people are being broken out of this awful ghost prison. And it also continued the trend, which we talked about a couple years back, and by a couple years back I mean a couple episodes back, because I don't think we all knew each other a couple of years back, of just the foresight and the phenomenal casting, but then bringing in Gary Oldman as Sirius Black, which was like such an amazing arc through the movie.
He was screaming posters.
Yeah, he was kind of terrifying. That is probably his weirdest role I've seen him as a raving lunatic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So well though.
Like just everyone, like Alan Rickman. I'm sorry, I can't remember the actor for Lupin. But no, it's really world class.
Yeah.
I've said this before about like Lord of the Rings, but world class like British actors dressing up as wizards.
Yeah, I'm just like, we're gonna go some hot wizard battles.
Yeah, performance with Maggie Smith, performance of a lifetime for.
Yeah.
I couldn't see anybody else playing Snape and Alan Rickman. He was amazing.
I love how he draws out every word. 300. Turn to page 394.
That's really good.
Everything. It's so awesome.
Dragon.
And so it's interesting that you mentioned Alan Rickman because J.K. Rowling actually told him about Snape's true self, like during the first movie, first movie. She told him like, here's what Snape is actually about.
Yeah.
And so he did all of that acting with that in mind.
Yeah.
And you can really tell looking back. So
every time he looks at Harry,
every time he looks at Harry, you can tell that as an actor, he's really thinking about like, what is my character actually thinking, even though the audience doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the brilliance of the films too.
It's also just a great singular movie, like the cool time travel story. Like it's just it works on its own as well as part of the bigger.
Of the series.
I think that scene with the hippogriff in the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, so good.
And then you just like see like this thing like snail like rock hit the wall. You're like, what was that? And you see like, wait, that was what it was?
Yeah,
just like,
it's so good.
The way it
is
works,
so great.
you would just add a frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, they work in the time travel really well in the film too.
Yeah. Really good stuff.
We should have used that time turner a little more often in the books. We saw a lot of
Such as
problems.
every time our friends die.
Yeah, like literally all these bad things.
Really?
You know at the end of every book where our friends die, let's just go back to right before that and be like,
Yeah.
hey, don't go in that weird hedge maze. The man's going to kill you.
They literally only used it to save the animal.
Yeah.
Too bad all the time turners get destroyed later.
Make some more.
really should have taken advantage of that
Use
one.
the
We
time
had it.
turner to go save the time turners. No, but I would say, hands down, at least for me, best of all the Harry Potter movies.
agreed.
Even though a
Yes.
lot of them are pretty amazing, but
Yeah.
this one
No,
really
I would
takes
agree.
the cake.
Yeah,
Like 100% agree.
Yeah.
agreed.
I think 4. Was it? No, 3. No, this
This is 3.
This is 3.
4.
Three.
4 was one of my
Four?
favorites. Goblet of
Goblet-
Fire. I
Goblet of
thought-
Fire.
That was where Dumbledore got super angry, tackled Harry into a tray.
Oh, no, Harry,
You know, in the books it says, when he says, like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? In the books it says, Dumbledore said calmly. So that's just my footnote
Like a
about
gun
Goblet of
button.
Fire.
Canon.
This scene wants you to be just a little bit edgier.
Yeah.
I want you to physically abuse a child.